So I went to Vietnam, and this is exactly what I captured, with pretty much 90% of my footage was on this Nikon Z50, and you won't believe what I actually got. So if you haven't catched my other video yet, I went to Vietnam for roughly 30 days, and I brought my Nikon Z50. Before I get into this video, if you haven't watched my other video on exactly what I captured in terms of street photography, go watch that video first right here or down in the comments below. But I had to bring essentially one camera, and I was like, what a better way to put this camera to the test is while I go travel. And what I found is I found what my favorite lens was to use with this, to take specifically every type of photo that I can imagine, from street photography to portraits to wildlife. To even time lapses. As well as I incorporated some videos, and what I liked, you would think that you pick up this camera, look how thin that is, and we're just gonna go over here to my collection of lenses, and you're like, what is the best lens that I actually preferred to use? Was it the 16 to 50? Was it maybe the F to Z mount? Or maybe it was the F to Z with the 35? Nope, nope. This right here, guys, was actually my favorite lens that I used all around for traveling. This is the notorious 50 to 250 kit lens, going in at 4.5 to a 6.3 aperture, all right? Really extremely long barrel, and if you guys haven't seen that video, watch that first. I talk about all that in that video. But this is ultimately my favorite lens because, one, it was able to capture the intimacy and the closeness from the chaoticness of Vietnam, from mopeds to street photography, to getting those really close wildlife shots that you normally couldn't get with a 16 to 50. And be it, this is an APS-C camera, meaning that there is a 1.25 crop factor, meaning this is actually a 70-300. And when you initially look at the 4.5 to 6.3 aperture, you're like, I'm not going to get any bokeh with it, but you will get a little bit of depth of field the more you zoom in. So that was actually my favorite lens, and I'm going to put to the side right now some of the photos that I took with this camera, with my Nikon Z50, no color grading, straight from the camera, all on a flat picture profile. Are you surprised? 'Cause I sure was. The next thing I took was, of course, this is a video channel where I help video creators. And all these videos that I shot are on 4K for the most part, all on a flat picture profile, handheld, some tripod, and you can see the dynamic range from, having really bright lights as well as, really, really bad lighting situations. And I'm going to slowly talk about what I like about the camera as well as what I didn't like the more I brought this camera with me. So my initial thoughts of carrying this camera around with my favorite lens is that this is a bulky lens. It is, wasn't my necessarily go-to to begin with because how bulky this is. Look at this. So although this lens right here was my favorite, it was not my favorite to carry around. Which is why for the longest time I really hesitated to not use that lens because of the bulkiness, and I am more, especially when you're traveling, you're much more of a run and gun type of person, especially if you're just capturing random things on the street, random videos. Maybe, you know, you want to capture time lapse here and there. The bulkiness was one of the issues with it. Next is the notorious flip down screen, right? And if it wasn't for SnapBridge, which is the app that allows you to connect your camera to your phone, you wouldn't be able to see what exactly is behind your, whatever it is you're framing, whatever your composition is, because let's say you have a little mini tripod on it. Maybe, you know, you want to have this on the ground. If this was on the ground and you wanted to like have a street photography kind of like a floor shot, you can't really put this down. I want to just compile a little every sort of photo and video that I was able to capture on this trip of mine. And as you can see, every photo, video, still, time-lapse was filmed on my Nikon Z50. And this is an entry APS-C 4K mirrorless camera, going in at roughly around $1,200 now. I would say not too shabby, right? Short story short is that the point of this video was to show you guys that you don't need to have fancy stuff. I took a Nikon Z50 to Vietnam. Who does that? Me. And it could be any camera that you want, as long as that, you know, shoots 4K, has video and photo capabilities. Sometimes you might even surprise yourself with the quality of the photos that you're taking based on other things like composition, like framing, like telling a story. And the more I'm able to not only show up for you guys and watching this, and you guys want to be a better creator, maybe you just want to learn more about, you know, specific cameras, showing up as your most authentic self on camera, behind the camera, as you're presenting to the camera, the more content becomes more of an agnostic, no-name thing. What I mean by that is that camera brands don't really matter, you know? It's all about storytelling, and I'm still here being a full-time editor, but I'll talk about that later. Here's my video editing station right there. In my next couple of videos, I'll be talking about, you know, portrait photography, talking about how you get your foot in the door as a video editor, videographer, because I've been getting a lot of comments about that, especially DMs. Out of all my videos, I'm gonna talk about that next. And if you guys want to get more serious about content creation, link in the description below where you can get my free camera guide, as well as my resources to help you on that content creation journey. My name is Peter, where I help you become a better content creator. You're watching a Broke Visionary Collective, where we all start with nothing, but you can always create something. Cheers, guys.